Hello everyone, it's Brazen. I recently put Albedo about a week ago and I've been having a lot of fun using him, and I wanted to share what I believe is the best way to build Albedo, so let's get into it. So we're going to be talking a little bit about Albedo. I went ahead and I put a dull blade and I took off his artifacts because I want to go over his base attributes first. Now, Albedo is one, if not, I believe he has the highest base defense out of any character in the game. Now, this is going to be very important as to why you need to get him to level 90. Unfortunately, I am still very short on some materials, so we're grinding out here. We're grinding for Albedo, but we are going to get him to level 90 and hopefully be able to do a showcase for him. But I wanted to talk about why his base defense is so important. Not only that, go look at some of his details. You got the 5% crit rate and 50% crit damage. That's going to play a very important role in the future. We also get the geo damage bonus from using Albedo. It's just his extra stat that gets upgraded as you ascend him. But now let's go and look at his talents. So we got his blade, which I recommend that you do not upgrade until that is the very last thing you should be upgrading on Albedo, because he is not meant to be a main DPS. He is meant to be the support that will carry you through Abyss. That's just how he is. And to that end, that is why I have upgraded his E as high as I can, and I plan to get it to level 9 once I get him ascended again. And why is this ability so good? Let's go ahead and before we read through this, you just need to know that a lot of the damage scales was defense, and those are the transient blossoms that occur every 2 seconds. And there is a way to abuse this as well, as I'll go over in a little bit. But let's look at his defense. This is a level 8 ability, keep in mind, but that shouldn't stop you from leveling this up. You get 212% defense. Now, the skill damage is attack, but you're not going to be placing this down, but maybe if you're abusing it, you should be placing this down about every 6 seconds. But now to talk about why this ability is so good, it's because you do geo AoE damage. You're doing AoE damage on an ability that does 214% defense on the character that has the highest defense in the game, which can crit. So you are going to be doing massive damage. Now looking at his Q, you're going to be doing a lot of damage, but you need to just make sure that you are having his E ability out, because when his E ability is out, you get these fatal blossoms, and they also generate damage. You get AoE geo damage as well, so it is very, very important. But it's also important to know that using his Q will not generate transient blossoms, so that is just something to note. So you'll have to have constant DPS coming from a different character, because using his Q will not generate those blossoms, so just something to note. Now we're just gonna kind of speed through everything else. His first ability, his passive talent, that Calciate Might, gives you more damage whenever an opponent is below 50%, and this is for the transient blossom, so that's just more damage. Very nice. You also get extra 125 elemental mastery after you use his Q, so this is very good. If you pop his Q, you can switch to a character and just absolutely pop off. And yeah, that's like one of the very nice things. Also has a 10% chance to receive double for weapon ascension materials, very similar to Sucrose. We got that taken care of. Now I want to just jump straight into the weapons, because this is what I have seen almost every YouTuber get wrong, and I'm very shocked that none of them mentioned how good the Harbinger of Dawn is. This 3-star weapon is by far the best weapon for Albedo, but if you, for some reason, if you don't have a max refinement Harbinger of Dawn, I would recommend using either the Black Sword or the Prototype Rancor. But if you have this like refinement 3 or 4, it's not the end of the world. It's just that your crit rate is going to be lower, so that is the downfall, unfortunately. But it's nothing that should really stop you from using the Harbinger of Dawn, because you can get so many copies. Going over why the Black Sword is an honorable mention, it is because you not only do more damage, you also get crit rate as a stat. Not only that, you also gain HP back, which is very nice, but it's nothing important, because the only thing that HP matters for is the Harbinger of Dawn. prototype ranker, you get bonus physical damage, but the main thing is you get defense. You increase your defense by 5%, so you could hypothetically increase it by 20%, and this is for refinement too. If you have refinement 1, it's less. If you have a higher refinement, more. Now, just getting those weapons aside, a Harbinger of Dawn, I cannot stress this enough, it is the best weapon for Albedo, because you have your substat as crit damage, and your ability gives you crit rate, 28 crit rate. That is higher than my Black Sword substat. Do you not know how crazy that is? That is insane. That is absolutely insane, and everybody's been sleeping on the sword. It is so good. So good, especially whenever you're building Albedo for his E ability, and that is the only thing in my opinion you should be building Albedo for. He is not meant to be a DPS. He is meant to be the support that will carry you through Abyss, and I cannot stress that enough. So we will go ahead and eclipse the Harbinger of Dawn, because that is the best weapon for him. You get the crit damage. Keep in mind, I'm only level 80, and I will be getting him to level 90 tonight. I may actually, you know, post a quick picture of what a level 90 Harbinger of Dawn looks like right here. And yeah, so that's what it looks like, and that's what I will be at tomorrow. So yeah, that is just good. More crit damage, more base attack, but again, his attack doesn't really matter, but hey, more the merrier, right? Anyway, let's go and pop on the artifacts and explain my choice for using the artifacts that I have. So let's start with the flower. Right now I am using the Royal Flora, but before I go into depth about why I chose this flower, I think it's important to note what artifact sets you should be going for. Personally, I recommend either going for a 4-piece Noblesse or a 2-piece Noblesse, 2-piece Petra, just so you get extra geo damage, but it doesn't really matter that much what you're going for, as you're just going to be getting more burst damage, or elemental burst damage, so it's not going to be anything that's going to really just make much difference. Now, again, having the geo damage from Petra set will be nice, but if you haven't farmed it, don't just go and farm it, because it's just 2 pieces. And if you have the Noblesse set, that is like one of the best sets for him anyway, so don't slack. And this is the flower that I'm using. I want to go and talk about the perfect substats for Albedo. So starting off, we have defense as the number 1, also crit damage. I put defense and crit damage as the number 1 thing you should be going for. Defense is very important, but you should not slack on either one. Now, also, this applies to crit rate, as well as you should make sure that you have a healthy amount of crit rate, or else you will not be getting a lot from your crit damage, and that's not good for anybody. So let's go ahead and equip this. Moving on to my feather, I'm having to use a gladiator feather. I'm not gonna lie, my pieces aren't the best for Albedo. He is currently a work in progress, so don't go in the comments and be like, yo, your pieces are shit. I know some of them are shit. They are bad. Like, I have decent defense, flat defense, and decent crit rate, which is the number 2 and the number 3 that you want to have when you're building Albedo. I also have energy recharge is number 4, but energy recharge, you don't need any. I'm gonna be real. You don't need any energy recharge whatsoever. So if you don't get energy recharge, don't sweat it. But you should never get attack or HP. Those are the 2 worst stats for him. Let's go ahead and equip our feather now. Moving on to our hourglass. I have a very shitty hourglass just because I don't have any good hourglasses. This is my best one, and I literally only have crit damage. I swear I did not have a single good defense hourglass, unfortunately. So I've just had to go with this. And yeah, I'm hoping to upgrade this sooner than later, get a better hourglass, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, for now, we are going for crit damage. Now, of course, you want to make sure that you have a defense hourglass, because that is the best thing that you can have for Albedo. Not attack, not elemental mastery, not energy recharge. You need to have defense, or else your Albedo will be slacking on his damage output. So let's go ahead and equip that. Moving on to the goblet, it should not come as a surprise that Albedo uses a geo damage bonus goblet, because almost all of his damage that you're going to be doing is going to be geo damage, unless you do a regular sword attack with Albedo on accident. That's the only way you will not be doing geo damage, if that tells you anything. So again, here, same thing with substats. I actually have a pretty decent one. I got cut twice by Elemental Mastery. Other than that, this piece is absolutely amazing, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. So go ahead and equip that. Now, moving on to your crown. Again, I don't have the best sets, but you want to make sure that you have crit damage. If you're using the Harbinger of Dawn, which you should be using, make sure that you have crit damage because you're getting 28% crit rate from using the Harbinger of Dawn. So that makes it where you can just absolutely stack the crap out of your crit damage and get in some insane numbers. And this is not a great piece. I got cucked 4 times by attack and by elemental mastery. So I only got 1 defense roll, no crit rate rolls. I got absolutely cucked. So this is not the ideal stuff. Like my Albedo, he is, even though we have, you know, we got good main stats for him. That's all we have. His substats, only thing I'm proud of when it comes to my substats is my Flower. My Flower here is absolutely wonderful, but everything else needs some work. So I'm just kind of going over what we're looking at now, because I know that's a lot to take in. Our defense has nearly doubled, and by the time we get Albedo to level 90, his defense will be absolutely amazing and will be probably upwards of 1700. I'm thinking we'll be around 1700. It may be a little bit higher, maybe a little bit lower. I will make an update video explaining or showing, or I'll make a showcase with Albedo at level 90. Just a quick overview of what I use and how I get my damage across with them. So, but let's go and look at this again. We get 50% crit rate, over 200% crit damage. His energy recharge got that 4.5%. His geo damage is almost 70%. Like whenever you crit with Albedo, it is just absolutely massive. I'm doing 8k per transient blossom. that it is just absolutely amazing. Alright, that's pretty much it for this Albedo build video. Yeah, but if I had to be honest and give you my official rating on Albedo, I would probably give him an S tier as a support because he does an amazing job of getting damage across without even needing to be on the field. And yeah, I've really been enjoying using Albedo. He's one of the funnest characters in the game, so hopefully this build will help you when it comes to making your Albedo. And yeah, with that said, have a nice day and peace out.